After months of legal wranglings, Ripple has succeeded in getting a trove of data known as the Hinman Documents released in an effort to help in its ongoing and seemingly never-ending lawsuit against the US Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, the SEC accuses the crypto payments company of selling unregistered securities. But are the Hinman Documents the smoking gun Ripple would like them to be, or just a big old nothing burger, as some would have us believe? Let's find out. Before we go on, though, I'll speak 1,000 words, but advice I won't bring, because financial advice is way too mainstream. Look below, you'll find timestamps, a handy trick. Skip around, explore. I'll help you learn quick. And now, back to the topic at hand, and a bit of context. In late 2020, the SEC sued Ripple over $1.3 billion in XRP token sales, alleging them to be securities. Newsflash, y'all need a license to sell securities in the USA, and Ripple don't have one. The SEC also accused Ripple's two senior executives, Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse, of reckless disregard for securities law because, the regulator alleged, Chris and Brad should have known that XRP was a security back in 2013 when those distributions began. Now, the result of this lawsuit will have implications, ripples, if you will, across the crypto industry, as it could impact how other cryptocurrencies are classified. And for more of a primer, I suggest you watch some of my previous videos on this case, which are linked to in the description below. So, who is William Hinman, and what are these documents that bear his name? Well, William Bill Hinman is a former director of the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance, serving in that role from 2017 to 2020. In 2018, Bill gave a speech at the Yahoo Finance All Market Summit and made the case that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities, as their networks were, say it with me now, quote, sufficiently decentralized. He explained this as a case when, quote, purchasers would no longer reasonably expect a person or group to carry out essential managerial or entrepreneurial efforts. Notably, the speech also suggested that something once classified as a security can morph or change to the point that it is no longer considered a security. Now, this speech is important in the ongoing litigation between Ripple and the SEC, not least because, quote, it was the last time the SEC made any material effort to clarify security regulations in their relation to digital assets, according to Adam Cochran, the founder of Cinnamon Hain Ventures, CEHV. So, what exactly are the Hinman Documents? Well, they're internal SEC emails and drafts of the speech delivered by Hinman, which provide valuable insight into SEC thinking around digital asset classification at the time. Most were exchanges about suggestions by staffers for the speech, such as how to clarify the SEC's views on application of the Howey test. Now, I imagine most of you are probably familiar with the Howey test by now. Anyhow, among other things, the comments on the speech suggest that Hinman's colleagues were concerned that some of the contents of the speech might increase confusion rather than boost clarity over the classification of digital assets as securities or otherwise. Sorry to interrupt you folks, but I have to let you know about the Coin Bureau deals page. My team and I have been able to pull together some of the best promos and discounts in the crypto space. We're talking trading fee discounts of over 50%, thousands of dollars in bonus airdrops, amazing deals at top exchanges, and reduced prices on hardware wallets, and much, much more besides. So just go to coinbureau.com/deals, also linked to below, and find the promo suited to you. And now, back to the video. In October 2022, Ripple was able to view the Hinman Documents after having fought for over 18 months and issued 6 court orders to secure them. On the 14th of June, the docs were unsealed and released to the public, hence the current brouhaha. So, what do they reveal? Well, different things for different people. Some regard this as clear evidence that strengthens Ripple's position in the case. Others contend that the documents fail to live up to the hype and don't do much to strengthen Ripple's hand. Others still look beyond the SEC versus Ripple case and examine what the docs mean for other SEC cases and the regulator's current chairman, Gary Gensler. So, let's examine each in turn. First, the view from the pro-Ripple camp. This was summed up by Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, in a series of tweets. He argued, quote, "We can now all see Hinman ignored multiple warnings that his speech contained made-up analysis with no basis in law, was divorced from the Howey factors, exposed regulatory gaps, and would create not just confusion, but greater confusion in the market." Dr. Rosalind Layton, the media personality and lawyer who filed a petition to unseal the closely guarded Hinman speech documents, wrote that she wasn't surprised to find the agency fought to hide them, as, quote, "They unmask the SEC, showing an agency more concerned about its own jurisdictional turf than protecting investors. They also show a high-ranking official ignoring explicit internal warnings that he was not following the law." She highlights the ethical, specifically conflict of interest, issues surrounding Hinman, pointing to the fact that at the same time as Hinman was declaring that ETH wasn't a security, he was, quote, "receiving millions of dollars from a law firm promoting Ethereum." Indeed, prior to his SEC appointment, Hinman worked at Simpson Thacher, a law firm that sits on the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, which is dedicated to promoting the commercial use of Ethereum. After leaving the SEC, Hinman returned to Simpson Thacher. Dr. Layton claims that, quote, "The emails show that giving Ethereum a free pass was why Hinman initially wanted to give the speech." Now, notably, the internal emails and comments on the speech show that the SEC Office of General Counsel, OGC, expressed, quote, "reservations about including a statement directly about Ether in the speech, because it would make it difficult for the agency to take a different position on ETH in the future." Hinman clearly disregarded these reservations. Layton argues that the SEC's actions raise numerous perplexing questions, making it unjustifiable for them to continue withholding information and misleading the public regarding the clarity of regulations. The internal disputes within the SEC, along with their deliberate efforts to create market confusion while claiming clarity, and their vindictive lawsuits against compliant companies like Ripple, Library, and Coinbase, highlight the inconsistencies. Layton further finds it unreasonable to hold Ripple executives personally liable for actions dating back to 2013, especially considering the intense disagreements within the SEC in 2018. Okay, so that's one view, now let's look at the other. Gabriel Shapiro, general counsel for Delphi Labs, called the emails a, quote, "nothing burger" that revealed nothing new to help Ripple's case. Quote, "I'd love it if this helped Ripple's case, but it just doesn't," tweeted Shapiro. He agreed that the facts of Hinman collaborating with Ethereum are helpful to Ripple's fair notice defense, but he emphasized that this was known before the publication of the Hinman documents and therefore doesn't have a major impact on the case. Now, the markets appeared to agree with Shapiro's assessment that the emails were overhyped and didn't quite meet expectations. The Hinman documents failed to deliver the decisive turning point that many in the XRP community had been hoping for, and the holy grail of regulatory clarity remains somewhat elusive. After the Hinman documents were released, the price of XRP jumped to 56 cents from 53 cents before sinking to about 51 cents soon after. Sell the news if ever I saw it. Meanwhile, Adam Cochran also believes that the documents are unlikely to have a big impact on the XRP case. However, in a thread on Twitter, he made the case that the nuance puts Gary Gensler in a challenging position in his broader effort to regulate cryptocurrencies. Cochran says that Hinman's speech went beyond just the Howey test. He tried to figure out if users and investors have different intentions and also explored the idea of something morphing from a security to not a security and vice versa, called reverse morphing. Basically, Cochran believes that if the SEC wanted to claim Ethereum is a security now, this document shows that at some point they thought it wasn't. So it's like they basically changed their minds. Now, Cochran ends with, quote, For Gary to conclude that proof-of-stake Ethereum is a security, he would both need to fight a landslide of precedent on the most litigated part of the Howey analysis and admit to the idea that security status can change over time with decentralization. Not for the first time, I don't envy Gary Gensler. So, there you have it. While the Hinman docs don't exactly harm Ripple's case, they're perhaps unlikely to be the silver bullet that slays the SEC werewolf. More legal wrangling lies ahead in this interminable case, and, lest we forget, Ripple isn't the only crypto entity the SEC is currently trying to monster into submission. Yes, XRP will pump if Ripple does emerge victorious, but remember, we're in a bear market and it's likely any pump will be short-lived. Conversely, if Ripple loses, XRP will feel some pain. But that's just my take. What do you find people think about the Hinman documents? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, check out our deals page for the best promos and discounts in all of crypto, and I'll see you next time. This is Guy, over and out.